Do you believe that some people are inherently evil? Can someone's upbringing, experiences, and environment create a monster? These are questions that come to mind when exploring the life of Irma Grese, a female SS guard at Auschwitz and Ravensbrück concentration camps during World War II. Her sadistic and monstrous behavior earned her the nickname the Hyena of Auschwitz. In this video, we will explore the horrific acts committed by Irma Grese and the shocking end to her life. Stay tuned until the end to find out about the brutal execution of this infamous Nazi guard. In April 1945, the British 11th Armored Division liberated Bergen-Belsen, a concentration camp in Nazi Germany, where they found around 13,000 unburied bodies and nearly 60,000 sick and malnourished prisoners. Many of the inmates died from diseases such as typhus and tuberculosis following the camp's liberation. The British captured male and female Nazi personnel responsible for the atrocities, and Irma Grese was among them. Born in 1923, Irma Grese was the third of 5 children, and her parents were dairy workers who did not support the Nazi Party. However, Nazi ideology was pervasive in German schools and society, and even though her father did not allow his children to join Nazi youth organizations, it was impossible to avoid their indoctrination. At age 13, Irma's mother committed suicide, and she dropped out of school at age 14 after being bullied. She worked on a farm and in a retail shop before becoming an assistant nurse at the Hohenleichen Sanatorium in 1939, where she trained under Karl Gebhardt, a Nazi doctor who would later conduct medical experiments on concentration camp inmates. However, she did not perform well academically, and at age 17 she was sent to work on a dairy farm. In July 1942, she began her criminal career at Ravensbrück concentration camp, where she was among 150 female supervisors, some of whom were SS volunteers, and others who took the job for the good pay and working conditions. Ravensbrück was the only major women's concentration camp established by the Nazis, and over 92,000 women perished there, including Poles, Russians, Jews, Gypsies, and others. Ravensbrück served as a training camp for female SS guards, where they were taught by Dorothea Binz, a cruel Nazi officer, how to handle the prisoners they were going to supervise. The goal was to extract maximum work out of the prisoners until they died, which led to Ravensbrück becoming a school of violence for about 3,500 female guards, who later served in other concentration camps. In the summer of 1942, SS doctors conducted unethical medical experiments on prisoners at Ravensbrück, including breaking of legs of female prisoners and infecting their wounds with bacteria. The experiments resulted in the death of many women and permanent physical damage to those who survived. Irma Grese, who had been exposed to such atrocities as an assistant nurse during the experiments, was deployed to Auschwitz-Birkenau in March 1943. Birkenau was the largest of the Auschwitz complexes, more than 40 camps and subcamps, serving as a center for the extermination of Jews, and later becoming a place where prisoners were concentrated before being transferred to labor in German industry. At Auschwitz, Grese found herself in a position to strike people when they couldn't strike back, which she enjoyed. She became one of the most hated and feared guards in the camp, earning the infamous nicknames the Hyena of Auschwitz and the Beautiful Beast, due to her cruelty and brutality. Grese was also reputed to be a sexual deviant, taking lovers from the male and female populace of Birkenau, including infamous figures like Dr. Josef Mengele and Commandant Joseph Kramer. She was known to select beautiful female prisoners for the gas chambers out of jealousy and spite. Irma Grese had a fondness for some female prisoners, including Nina Kaleska, who she used as a messenger and a lookout during lesbian orgies. Grese had multiple affairs with female inmates, but would select them for the gas chambers once she grew bored with them. She also physically abused her sexual partners. When a Georgian man rejected her advances, she punished him by dragging his naked girlfriend around the camp with her hair and whipping her. Afterwards, she had the man shot, and the woman sent to the camp brothel. Mengele ended his relationship with Grese upon discovering that she was having affairs with Jewish inmates, whom the Nazis deemed inferior. Despite her relationship with SS man Franz Wolfgang Hatzinger, Grese had many lovers and contracted sexually transmitted diseases. She had multiple abortions, one of which was performed by Dr. Gisela Perl, but her only concern was the pain she would feel. Grese held various positions within Auschwitz, including telephone duties and overseeing the transport of stones into the camp. She was later in charge of making roads and gardening work. In May 1944, she became the senior guard of Birkenau's larger camp, or Camp C, supervising 6 or 7 female guards who changed every week. The camp was overcrowded, with 1,000 prisoners in each block meant for only 100 to 300 prisoners. Sanitary conditions were terrible, with malfunctioning latrines. Grese was infamous for carrying her woven leather whip, which she used to beat prisoners for reasons such as stealing food or being late for roll call. During roll call, prisoners had to stand still, and if they moved, they were either beaten or had to kneel for hours. Grese's other specialty was to order prisoners to hold large stones above their heads, and if they faltered, she would beat them. Despite being told to stop by the camp's commandant, Grese continued to use her whip. On a particular occasion, prisoners cut up their blankets to fashion shoes or jackets. Grese commanded that any items produced from the blankets be returned immediately, but since nothing was returned, she ordered a search of the blocks. Prisoners found in possession of such items were brutally whipped. Grese not only used her whip, but also her walking stick to beat prisoners. Her preferred target was women, whom she would beat until they bled and fell to the ground, then kick with her heavy boots. Once, when she witnessed a woman talking to her daughter over the wire fence between two compounds, Grese beat and kicked her so viciously that the prisoner lay on the ground. Grese was also accused of stealing veteran female inmates for the gas chambers, often working alongside her lover, Dr. Josef Mengele. When the women were sent to their deaths, Grese recorded this as special treatment in her books. Survivors recall how female prisoners were often paraded naked and inspected like livestock to determine whether they were fit for work in Germany or only fit to die. Grese would maintain order, and if some women tried to escape, she would bring them back to beat them. When she saw relatives trying to reunite during selections for forced labor, she would beat them unconscious and leave them lying on the ground. Female prisoners who attempted to escape such selections were caught and were severely beaten until they bled before being put back in line. During one such selection, two girls trying to flee jumped out of a window and lay on the ground. Grese mercilessly shot them with her loaded pistol. However, Grese also helped some prisoners, such as Alice Tenenbaum, who was sent to the gas chamber by Mengele 16 times. Every time, Grese entered the gas chamber to save Tenenbaum. Survivors learned after the war that Grese did this because Tenenbaum resembled her sister, Helene. At Auschwitz, Grese owned two large dogs that she starved. Survivors recalled her riding a bicycle around the camp with her dogs, accompanying the female inmates on their 16-kilometer journey to work. Those who couldn't keep up were attacked by her dogs. On one occasion, a group of female prisoners carrying stones lost control of their wagons and scattered stones everywhere. Grese sicked her dogs on them. The dogs easily overtook the women, tearing at their bodies while Grese watched with bloodshot eyes and a smile on her face. Sometimes, when Grese was out with her work parties, she would beat and kick women with her heavy boots. Another one of her specialties was sending women outside the wire fence while they were working to make it seem like they were trying to escape. When one guard refused to shoot the woman crossing the fire fence, arguing that they had been sent over intentionally, Grese testified against them in an inquiry. Thanks to the stolen belongings of Birkenau's murdered victims, Grese had access to the finest clothing from all over Europe. She had her dresses custom tailored by the best Jewish dressmakers who had become prisoners in the camp. She particularly liked a sky blue jacket with a dark blue tie. Grese spent hours in front of her dressing mirror, imagining herself as a movie star. Once she declared that she would be a film star after the war, using her life experiences to aid her career as an artist. As we come to the end of this video, we cannot ignore the gruesome reality of the atrocities committed by Irma Grese and her fellow Nazi guards. By learning about the actions of Irma Grese and others like her, we can gain a deeper understanding of the true evil of the Nazi regime and the devastating impact it had on millions of people. If you found this video informative, please consider sharing it with others and subscribing to our channel for more thought-provoking content.